Good evening, Pampered Stars. It's me, Robin, your leader. I hope everyone's having a good night and a good day so far. This is our June organization meeting, and we're going to take July and August, well, most of August off, and we're going to resume the end of the month. But I wanted to go out with a bang before summer, so we have a very special guest tonight. This is Casey Burke. She's our executive director. She is the person that recruited me 5 years ago. She's the person, I know you've all heard the story about how she kept asking me and I kept saying no. And then I finally said yes. And to be honest with you, the only reason I said no, I think, was because I was scared. But I am so glad I finally said yes. And she is going to talk with us about her business and how she got started and the importance of conference. So without further ado, welcome. Nice to see you.
Hey guys. So if you don't know me, my name is Casey Burke and I am your executive director in this organization. And I joined in 2017 and Robin was one of my first recruits. So she's been in for 5 years and I've been in for 6 years. So she was one of my probably closer than that actually. But she was one of my first recruits. And so I'm going to tell you a little bit, a story about the amazing growth of our organization. And Robin has a lot to do with that. But what I really am here to talk about is mindset and sorry, I have a tickle in my throat. So is momentum. So momentum is it's for conference. It's our theme for conference is momentum. And momentum is really, really important, as well as mindset. So I'm going to go over a little bit about that with you guys. But like I said, so I started in 2017 and Robin was one of my very first recruits. So I was so excited when I joined Pampered Chef. Like I literally thought that this company had created this company for me. Like it seemed so tailor-made for me that I was just so excited. So in my very first month, I think a month or 2 months, I did 7 in-home parties. That's all I've done ever in my 6 years. But in those first month or so, I did 7 in-home parties. And I was so excited about this business that when I would do these in-home parties and I would talk about Pampered Chef, like my excitement was infectious. So I recruited very, very quickly in my first 30 days. So I promoted to director in 28 days. And at the time, 6 years ago, that was like unheard of. Like I was literally the only person in Pampered Chef to ever promote to director in 28 days. Now it's like everybody's doing it. But in 6 years ago, which isn't really that long ago, it was unheard of. So, and I didn't know I was doing anything special. I just knew I loved this business and all I could do was talk about how great this business was. And people weren't buying a kit to become a consultant. They were buying a kit because they wanted what I was putting out. Everybody wants to be excited about something. And I was so excited about this business that because my mindset was just so like, Pampered Chef is the best thing on the face of the earth. And people, and that's really what I believed and still believe. And I just was putting that out there and people weren't buying a kit to be a consultant. They were literally buying my excitement. They wanted something to be excited about as well. So our organization grew very quickly. So I promoted to director in 28 days and I promoted to advanced director the very next month. And again, that 6 years ago, unheard of. Now it happens all the time, and people are fast tracking like crazy. Like Stacy Itzel didn't even know what to do with me because it happened so quickly. And excuse me. So anyway, so our organization had this great momentum, and this everybody was promoting and everybody was recruiting, and we just had this great culture in our organization and this momentum that was just untouchable. Like this momentum was crazy. And yes, I talked Robin into joining, and I talked everybody into joining because I was like, really, it blew my mind why people wouldn't join this business, because to me, it was the best business on the face of the earth. And so we grew very quickly and we had this great momentum. And I had the mindset of like, the sky's the limit, right? And so the organization grew and grew and grew, and everybody was promoting, and we fast tracked very quickly. And then a shift happened, right? So a shift happened not in my organization, but in my mindset. So I was going through some personal stuff. I was going through a divorce, and I had been a stay-at-home mom for 20 plus years, right? And I got married very young. So my only jobs ever were waiting tables in my 20s, and I had taught aerobics. Those were my only job qualities other than Pampered Chef. So even though, and that's a very scary, scary, scary time when you're going through a divorce and you know that you're going to have to support yourself on your own, and you have no real skills out in this world. So even though I knew that I needed my Pampered Chef income more than ever, I knew that I couldn't get out of my own way. So I went from this crazy momentum and this crazy, like, high on Pampered Chef life and this mindset that was just so shooting forward to now. I was like, I knew what I had to do on one hand, but on the other hand, I was continually throwing myself my own pity party. And so even, like I said, even though I knew I was dependent on my PC income more than ever, I was the one in my own way. And that happens, right? So even though you're not going through maybe a life change where you have to fully support yourself, you still get in your own way a lot of the times, right? Your mindset changes everything. So I was in this mindset of, yes, I know what to do, but woe is me. So you guys know, because we're all in the same organization, there's a trip that we can earn that Stacy sponsors and a couple other nationals. It's called the Six Figure Club. So I had earned this trip by the skin of my chinny chin chin. And I had only earned it because I was drifting on the momentum that I had already created in this organization. So I earned this trip. So I am in this spectacular mansion, and it is like, I can't even tell you all of the, like, I can tell you, but you cannot actually understand the actual feeling and the perks and all of the things of the Six Figure Club, because it's really a special trip to earn, right? So I'm on, and it's embarrassing to say, I'm being full disclosure here. I'm laying it all on the line here. I'm on this trip and I'm feeling like an imposter, right? So I'm feeling like, so I earned this trip, but did I really earn this trip? Because the people on this trip they're all nationals, right? And I'm not a national, but again, because of this great momentum in our organization, and I'm not going to say, like, I'm not a slacker. Like I part of this is, earned on my own merit as well, but I barely earned it. And so I'm with these upper level leaders, and they're working their business like, I mean, we're having a good time, but they're literally working their business. Like, I have never been around so many successful women in my life in the same room ever. And so when I was like, I was making breakfast for everybody, and I'm out by the pool, and they're working their business. And again, don't get me wrong, everyone's having a good time as well. I was embarrassed to say I had one party that week. That week that we were in that first trip that I had gone on, I had one party. And they were recruiting, and they were booking, and they were doing all the things, and they're nationals, and they're, they did not earn the six-figure club by their chin or their chinny chin chin. Like, they're in like the 200,000s. So I was embarrassed to admit that I had only had one party. But I was talking to Stacy Itzel, and and actually Stacy and I are really good friends. We live 15 minutes apart from each other. We get together a lot. And so we can be really, not that she's not real with everybody, but I can say like real, and she can say real, and I can take it. And I said, listen, doing all of the things seems overwhelming to me. Like, I was not doing all of the things. And so doing all of the things that we teach you guys, and the 7 steps, and all of the booking ask, and all of the things, it seemed overwhelming to me because I wasn't doing any of them. And I only had one party. So remember that. So she said, listen, do one of the things. And it still at that point in time still seemed daunting to me. And she said, do one of the things. And I said, all right, I'm going to commit. And she's like, you only have one party. So you don't have to do one thing in all of the parties. You just have to do one thing in one of the parties. And I said, okay, so I'm going to commit to doing the bonus prize. Okay. I was not doing the bonus prize. And I committed to doing the bonus prize. And it was early February. And so I did the bonus prize while I was there because my party was ending. And I had gotten a few parties, and it's crazy. I had gotten a recruit, right? But I hadn't recruited anybody. And I recruited somebody on that trip as well. And I don't remember who it was or if they're even still around, but that's not important because it was a little win for me. Actually, it was a big win for me, which to the people that were on the trip, it would have been a little win. But to me, that was like a huge win. I had gotten like 2 or 3 parties booked, and I recruited somebody just on that trip, just from being around like-minded people, which you don't have to be on a 6-figure club trip to be on. You can just go to conference and have the same type of experience. Just from being with like-minded people who work their business continuously, I was like, oh my gosh. So I did the one thing. I did the bonus prize. I recruited somebody. I got a couple parties. I came home. It was still February. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do one more thing. So I had already exhausted my one party with all the booking ask. So now I have to go outside of my parties, right? So I went out. So I was like, cringeworthy, but I'm not going to lie. Birthday messages are cringeworthy to me. I don't know why. And they're fine and it's okay. But for some reason in my head, I want to have so many bookings that I don't have to resort to birthday messages ever again. But I was not in that place at the time. So as cringeworthy as it was to me, I had to do birthday messages. So I did all my birthday messages and I got some more bookings. And lo and behold, I've got a full calendar for March. I recruited 8 people in that March, and I had a full calendar in March. And I actually had my highest sales in a really long time at that point. So this is what creates, so mindset. I'm like, I started with one of all the things. I started with one. I did the one. I'm like, okay, I can add another one. And then I was like, okay, well, when you're doing the 7 steps, you don't really have to think about recruiting because the words are already built in for you. So if you're just copying and pasting the words from the 7 steps in your host coaching, your recruiting words are already in there. So you don't have to think about it. You don't have to be like, oh my gosh, I don't want to recruit, or I don't know how to recruit, or I don't know what to do when I recruit. It doesn't matter. If the words are already in there for you. So I'm just copying and pasting, just like you guys. And I had already been in this business for 5 years and was an upper level leader, earning 6 figures, not doing all the things. And I was still having trouble with getting back on board. Because when I first started, I was recruiting like crazy. And then somehow I lost it, right? In my mindset, I had lost it. When you lose it, it's hard to get back. So you can sustain. If you think about a car or a bicycle and you're pressing the pedal and you have momentum, you can take your foot off the pedal. You still have momentum. You can still ride off of that, but you cannot sustain that vehicle or your business on that momentum if you're not working your business or putting your foot back on the pedal. Okay. So that's just an analogy. So I recruited all these people and I got these bookings, and that created this momentum. And I was like, my mindset was shifted. And I was like, we got this. I've got this. Not we've got this. I've got this. Because my organization they already had it. They were already, Robin is the top seller and Justice Actemeyer is the top seller. And that's my first gen in our organization, Cindy Slattery. Like my first gen, the people who I recruited and put all of this time and energy and excitement into, they're golden, right? They're golden. I was not golden. And so this mind shift and this mindset, it shifted. Okay. And so now fast forward, that was February of 2022, I'm sorry. And in February 2023, I earned the 6-figure club again not by the chin of my chinny chin chin. All right. So I had earned it. Like I want to say like for real, but I had earned it in leaps and bounds of what I had earned it the prior year. But it's kind of a funny story because when I was on that trip, I was actually back in the mindset that I was the February prior. And I was like, I don't want to recruit. It seems like I'm recruiting and nobody wants to work. So I felt like I'm recruiting, but I'm putting all my energy into these people who just don't want to work. It's like, it's a different mentality now. It's a different time now. Like everybody thinks that they can just get something for free and they don't have to work. And so it was tiresome. It was tiresome to recruit and put your energy into onboarding, and they weren't working. And that's taking time away from your personal business when you're putting some time into somebody else. So we're in February, March, April, May, June. So that was only 4 months ago. So I was literally sitting around with Stacy again and Ellington Boyce and Love, like these huge nationals. And I'm like, you know what? My heart's just not into recruiting right now. It's just, I'm putting all my time into these people and they're not doing anything, and it's exhausting and it's taking time away from my personal business. And we had a couple conversations, and again, it is so different being around like-minded people, which you don't have to go to 6-figure club to experience this. You can just go to conference to experience this, because it's like-minded people that change your outlook on all of the things. And you see excitement in people and just a different outlook. And so I was talking to Love and Ellington and Stacy, and they're kind of giving me a bigger picture. So it's kind of more of a work smarter, not harder kind of picture. And you can, recruiting, we always say recruiting is the answer to everything, right? But sometimes we get stuck in our own mind and we think, you know what? I'm going to focus on my own personal business because I'm getting 20, 22, 28, whatever the percent is, my overrides are only on 4%. But what we don't realize is that when you create an organization, like even still that I'm getting almost 30% commission on my own sales, my organization still outweighs my personal sales. Even though I can sell $10,000, $12,000 a month, my organization is still, my overrides are still bigger than that. So you go on to work smarter, not harder. So I digress. So it was just in February, a few months ago, and I just didn't have the recruiting excitement, I guess. And anyway, they were having some conversation. They were like kind of saying the same things that I'm saying to you. And there was somebody in my party that was really, really excited. There was a host that I had that was really, really excited. And I don't know about you guys, but when I have somebody who's really excited, that makes me want to work with them so much more than someone who's like, I don't know, or they cancel on their onboarding call or whatever it is. But when you have someone who's really excited, that's what excites you. It's not that I don't want to recruit. It's that I don't want to recruit and work with people who don't want to be in this business. So anyway, so her name was Ashlyn. Or her name is Ashlyn. And she was just so excited about this business. She literally reminded me of myself. She reminded me of Robin. She reminded me of Justice. Like that excitement got me excited. So I recruited, again, on that trip, I recruited Ashlyn. And she promoted to director in 28 days. And she's still going strong and she's doing all the things. But that's what's exciting about this business, is that I think we forget and we get so sidetracked by the people who kind of, I don't want to say bring us down, but who don't get what we're like. We know this is the greatest business ever. We know people literally can quit their full-time jobs and do PC full-time from their couch in their PJs and spend all their time with their kids and still make a full-time income. We know that, but everybody else doesn't get it. So sometimes it's frustrating to try to convince people that this job is amazing, because we already know it's amazing. So, but when we come along somebody who's like so excited like us, like that's what drives us. So I'm sure I got way off track, but momentum and I keep saying momentum and mindset they go hand in hand. So I know that whenever I have lost track of my business, or I'm struggling to recruit, or I'm struggling with bookings or whatever the things, right? Like bills to pay. All right. So this is my full-time income. I have bills to pay, but you know what? You guys have bills to pay too. Even if this isn't your full-time income, this is some kind of income to you guys. Even if it's your car payment, it's your daycare bill, it's your, groceries for the week, like this is an income to you. So have the option of saying, okay, I'm gonna do booking. I'm not gonna do any booking asks this week. Or I literally would on some days, I'm like, I would rather vacuum my entire house than send out booking texts, like, or booking requests or booking asks. It's just not an option. So if you think about your business in the sense that this is paying my groceries, this is paying my gas for our cars, this is paying my daycare, whatever it is that Pampered Chef has brought you to this business has brought income to your family, you have to remember that income can go away really quickly. So you may not have grocery money, you may not have the daycare money, you may not have your car payment, whatever it is, your full-time income. Like you just have to have the mindset that I depend on this, or I want this, or it betters my family life having this. So mindset is everything, right? So mindset, momentum, which is our theme for conference, is everything. And they go hand in hand. When you have the mindset, you have the momentum in your team. So when that February of 2022, And I recruited that one person, and I had that one party, and I did that bonus prize. Fast forward to a year later, we promoted to an executive team. Okay. So that's what, which is very exciting. So that's what mindset and momentum can do for all of you. So anyway, that's my spiel. And that's kind of my story. But I hope it inspired you in some way. And even being an upper level leader and being in this business for 6 years, which is, it's a lot, but not a lot. Like, I know the highs and lows, and I do have to say one thing. So when I started, so, when people say like, oh, it's the holidays, like it's January or February, right? Let's take February, for instance. Nobody wants to book in February because we just got over the holidays. We just had double rewards, or it's August, it's summer, everyone's on vacation. Nobody wants to book. When I first started, I didn't know that. Okay. This is just a perfect example of mindset. I didn't know those things. So they didn't play in my mind, and I booked and recruited like I normally would. And it made zero difference that it was August or that it was February. So sometimes you can get in your head about hearing about other people saying, oh, you can't, oh my gosh, the summer is going to suck. Like after June, your July and August, it's going to be terrible until the new products come out. That is actually not true. People love Pampered Chef. They always want to book. Your mindset plays in everything. So if you're reaching out to people and you're like, no one's going to book in July or August, so I'm not really going to reach out, or if they say no, I'm not going to overcome their objection because it's August. People are busy. That's not actually true. Your mindset actually lays out the land for your entire year. So that's it.
This was wonderful, Casey. This was wonderful. Thank you so much. You're so inspirational. And this information is gold, because we all have our, it might not be a divorce, like you said, it might be something else, but sometimes I go through the same thing. Sometimes, you know what? I don't want to do anything today. I'm putting friends on, but then I get right back to it. Sometimes you just need to take a breather and reset and move on. So thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us. I know your time is precious, and I appreciate it, and we all do.
Absolutely. Sorry, I think I talked way over 10 minutes, but
that's okay. Listen, that's okay. This is gold. I'm glad we got it.
All right, guys. Well, have the great rest of your meeting. And I hope I see all of you at conference, because really, it changes everything. So I hope you see you there.
It really does. Thank you, dear. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, I'm out. Bye.
Bye-bye. Oh my God, wasn't she great? Oh, she was just so wonderful. Okay, so we're going to have an abbreviated meeting because we have some trainings to get to. I'm going to call on Advanced Director Suzanne Hennihan. She has some exciting training to do with us tonight. And it's an artificial intelligence program that can revolutionize your Pampered Chef business by helping you edit templates, overcoming objections to hosting and recruiting. It provides words for your customer connection emails, creates scripts for your videos, and so on. So I'm going to stop talking and send it to Suzanne.
Hey guys, how are you? So tonight I'm going to talk to you about ChatGPT, and I'm going to share my screen so you can see it. But ChatGPT is an AI-based website. You can also download it on your phone as an app. There's a bunch of different ones, but they all do basically the same thing. So it's an artificial intelligence that you can feed it anything basically, and it will give you so much information back. So for example, say you are given a template and you're like, I don't know how to edit this template. Like, what am I going to say? How am I going to change these words? Well, you would just go to ChatGPT. You would type in, for example, rewrite. You would paste whatever it is that's in your template that you want to rewrite. You hit enter, And it gives you all these words back. Hello. And there you go. So it rewrites the words for you. It keeps the same basic idea of what the post is about, but it just changes the words. So you're no longer having the same words as somebody else, which will protect you from getting into Facebook jail. As usual, though, you should be going through it and then making it yourself. So you don't sound like, like an AI program, but it gives you the basics. So another example is if I want to overcome an objection of my someone that I ask that wants to host. If I ask somebody to host and they say, for example, oh, I don't like to ask my friends to spend money so I can get free products. Well, I would just tell it, hey, overcome this objection. I put in what the objection is. I hit enter, and it gives me some things to send back to them. If, however, I think it's too long and too wordy and no one wants to read that, I can tell it to rewrite less or rewrite 50 words or less. And it'll just rewrite it and make it shorter, a lot more simpler. If I have somebody that I want to join my team and they just tell me they're too busy and they don't want to be a Pampered Chef consultant because they don't have the time. Same thing, overcome this objection. Remember, we always end our statements back to them with a question. So I just say, overcome the objection, end with a question. I put in the objection, and then I get all these words back that I can send to them. Obviously, it's not perfect. So edit it as to, to make it sound better. It's just an artificial intelligence. But even if you don't like what they just said to you, you can say rewrite, and it's going to rewrite what is said in a different way. I have a couple of more things that I want to show you. So, for example, you want to go and send a CCE email, but it's the same things each time you go into the CCE email, like the same wording. They don't, change it up very often. Say, for example, I want to send a CC email about hosting a virtual Pampered Chef party in June because you're earning double rewards. Well, I would just tell it, write me an email to send to customers about, and then I put in whatever my topic is, and it's going to write me an email. So it quickly just writes these things for you. Once again, if you think it's too long, you just tell it to rewrite in 50 words or less, or 100 words and less, or whatever it is that you want to change, it'll change it for you. If there's a word in there that you don't like say they give you, I don't know, whatever word they give you that you don't like relish, you can say rewrite, but don't use this word, and it'll rewrite it and not use that word. Another thing, so making reels lately is like a huge thing. It's a very hot topic these days, but say you have no idea what you want to do in your reel. You don't have any ideas. Well, the cup slicer is a very popular product these days. So I could just put in there, create a script for a reel about the Pampered Chef cup slicer. Hit enter. It's going to tell you exactly what to do. Here's the words you're going to say. This is what you should show in the video. This is what you should do. So it gives you ideas of things that you might not, have ideas about before. Two more things to show you and I'll wrap it up. In your parties, people have struggles in their kitchen. You ask them what is the struggle that you have in your kitchen? And sometimes they say, oh, well, I don't have enough counter space in my kitchen. You don't know how to solve that. You don't know what answers to give them. You put it in. Solve the kitchen problem of not enough counter space in the kitchen. And it's going to give you ideas that you can send back to them. Oh, actually, sometimes you have to go and do a new chat because sometimes it'll just go off of what you just were given. But yeah, and once again, if you think it's too long, you just tell it to rewrite it in however many words you want or less. and then it'll give all that. And then the last thing that I could show you is people want recipes. You want to give them a recipe for a sheet pan chicken dinner, which is exactly what I did tonight. I went on ChatGPT. I gave them the ingredients that I have. I put it in. It gave me a recipe. I made it. It was wonderful. So let's say I want a sheet pan chicken dinner. Well, here is my recipe for a sheet pan chicken dinner. All I just do is I can send it to somebody. If it's something that I want to send out in like a CC email, like, hey, check out, this recipe for this dinner or whatever. It's all right there for you. It's really quick. But yeah, does anyone have any questions about ChatGPT? The website is chat.openai.com. And like I said, if you have an iPhone, you can just, find an app that says ChatGPT. The website gives you like a limited amount of responses that you can get each day. Or you can upgrade to unlimited for a price, but the website itself is free up until a certain amount of messages for the day.
Is the app free? Madison wanted to know that.
The app that I have was not free. There might be a free one, but the one that I have was like $30 for the whole entire year. And it has a whole bunch of different categories. It's a little more advanced than just the website. So.
But we could try the website for free. And if it's something we wanted to upgrade to, we could do that.
Yeah.
That's so exciting. I can't believe something that simple. You just typed in something and it gave all these responses. Amazing.
Yeah. So I was in like this focus group and somebody brought it up and then I forgot about it for a little bit. And then I watched Jeopardy and it was a category in Jeopardy. I was like, oh yeah, I want to check that out.
That's awesome.
And so I went and Googled it and I was like, oh my God, this is
Yeah,
amazing.
that's awesome.
So,
thank you so much, Suzanne.
yeah, you're welcome.
Okay, our next speaker is our director, Madison Taro, and she's going to speak to us about how to send a customer connection email on the website, and she's going to give us a tech tip. Take it away, Madison.
Hey y'all. So I'm just coming from another call, but I was listening in. I'm getting everything set up. But I'm going to share my screen. Okay. So let me stop. I'm trying to figure out how to move this little board so I can. Okay. So I try to send these at least once a week, but I find the more often that you send them, the more sales that you receive from these calls, sales that you receive from the emails. So I had posted this on my team page that the customer connection emails work. Sending useful content in them and not just trying to sell a product actually helps to sell the product. So what I found from another consultant, I don't remember if this is on a call or not, but whenever I was needing sales, she had told me to try this. So it's basically you find a recipe on the website, and since Father's Day is coming up, I just went to Pampered Chef and searched burgers. So I actually just searched them. And since the black truffle and herb is one of the new products, I clicked on that one that says truffle burgers. I mean, you can pick whichever one you want, but I just chose truffle because it's one of the newer products. So what you do from there is you copy the URL from that recipe. And then you go to Consultants Corner and you go to where it says My Contacts. And then your contacts will load. And you want it to send to all of your contacts. And then you click this checkbox so it sends to everybody. And then you click on Send Customer Connection Email. It might take a little bit. have a few contacts in there. Then it will load the email to send to them. You can design it however you'd like. I usually try to paste in the recipe as soon as I have this open, and right where it has the .com/recipe, you're gonna want to click between the slash and recipe and add PWS / what your PWS is. So mine is Madison Tarot. And then you add an extra slash before recipe. So that way it leads them directly to your website with this recipe. So then I go back and I add in the wording. So mine will say, here's a fun and tasty recipe for using, I'm going to put the truffle, what was it exactly called? Black truffle and herb seasoning. You always want to use the product that's featured in this recipe that you're sending them. The black truffle and herb seasoning. And I'm going to add Father's Day is coming up soon. I'm going to delete this one because that was one of my older recipes that I sent. And then, so I'm going to sandwich it with the words, sandwich the link. So need, and I'm going to copy the product because I basically send similar wording and I just change it up a little bit each time. So paste. So need black truffle and herb seasoning. Use the link to shop, and you can say, I'll add a free gift on orders placed before a certain time. You can say, I'll give 10% off, or you can just say, use link below to shop today. You don't even have to add that you're going to add a free gift or something special. Then I always put, instead of clicking the shop now, I always add my special shopping link, because if you use a shop now, it will go directly to your PWS shop where you can't edit the orders. So I'll always add in a link to one of the parties I have open under myself. So let me grab that one real quick, that link. Okay. Let me go back and copy. I got the wrong thing. Copy. So paste. And then you can also make sure that it turns up blue. You highlight it and you click on this little link thing right here, and it automatically links it for you. So you just hit link. And then if you highlight your recipe as well and click the link, it links it as well for you. So then it shows up as blue as a link in there. And then I always add the host a party and join my team on every email that I send out, because that's not going to send it directly to your PWS. It just gives you notifications. And then you can make the subject line whatever you like. Father's Day special is what I'm going to call this one. And I'll add in a hamburger. So then I will replace this. I know that there's a background that has a burger on it, or burgers. Look, there you go, right there. So apply, or actually I think I was making sure they didn't have another, no, I'll just use that one. So here's the burger one. I'm going to apply. So happy Father's Day special. And for the burgers, Father's Day is coming up soon. Here's a fun and tasty recipe for using the black truffle and herb seasoning with the recipe. Need black truffle and herb seasoning? Use the link below to shop, and I will add a free gift on orders placed before 9 p.m. Central today. And then all you have to do once that is over, I'm trying to figure out how to move this box link in. You just hit the send email and it will send to everybody. So does anybody have any questions? I'm sorry, I was trying to make sure I had everything set up before.
Madison, on your black truffle burger recipe, are you under your PWS already, or was that just through Pampered Chef?
I was under my PWS already, but sometimes it will have your PWS, sometimes it
Okay.
won't.
I would say that usually, theoretically, pulls your PWS.
Yeah, just make sure that it does have your PWS link in there is what I usually do. Just make sure.
Thank you so much, Madison. Does anyone have any questions for Madison? Or is there anything you didn't understand? It's pretty much, if you go to Consultants Corner, you can, if I figured it out, anybody can figure it out on how to send a customer connection email. But if you don't know how to do it after watching this video, and I'm gonna post the replay tomorrow so you can watch it at your leisure and you can stop it and that kind of thing if you want to give it a try, just to send something out. And that's the perfect thing to do, send something out for Father's Day. So I appreciate you doing that. I know
You're
you
welcome.
were on 2 other calls tonight. I appreciate it. Okay. All
But
right.
another thing for the CCE, I know Pampered Chef does send out CCEs for you that are more general. But if you're just like a customer care, at least once a week, I know last week I did, was last week Memorial Day? Yeah, last week was Memorial Day. So I did a patriotic pies, and it was a little, the mini brownie, or the brownie bite pan. And I know I had like several orders come through, even though it was literally Memorial Day. So they wouldn't have gotten any time to make it that day. But it helps boost your sales, especially whenever you're trying to hit certain goals with sales.
Great. Good stuff. Thank you so much. All
You're
right.
welcome.
Okay, let's move along now to Advanced Director Christina. She's going to speak with us about going into some of your older parties that have been closed to get some bookings. It's never too late to get some bookings from parties. I mean, sometimes we're busy and we forget to do the bonus prize or whatever, so she's going to talk to us about that. So here she goes.
Hey everyone, so I want to apologize if the dogs bark or you hear the kids. Flying solo parenting this week. I also want to say I never realized how similarly mine and Casey's story is, because first national conference I went to in person was 21, and that's when Stacy rented out a movie theater and she had directors at her house, and I felt like an imposter at her house. I was like, I don't belong here. I don't know why they accepted me. So her story is very relatable to me as well. But just, it's super simple. It is never too late to go into closed parties and ask for booking bonuses, or for booking parties and using the bonus post. If you've never done it before, I personally have missed Life Happens, and unfortunately, that's just kind of how it is. And instead of saying something like the party's closing, I say summer's upon us and I wanted to celebrate with a bonus prize. So you can change it to fit kind of what the current season is, instead of saying it's just like, hey, we're just doing a bonus prize. And it makes it a little bit more, I guess, like realistic. But I just want to tell you guys that because it has been successful for me when I've missed. And then I also want to say I have been guilty of not booking out my calendar. I will get a whole lot of parties booked, and then I will slack off because I apparently like to ride a roller coaster and stress myself and Robin out. Sorry about that. So I will have, or I've had parties just drop on me and I need to fill bookings for like this coming week. So I say, instead of my first available is June 9th, I'll say, oh, I just had a spot open for June 9th. that makes it sound like, oh, this is something special, not I'm desperate, please book your party right now. So those are just two super simple things. It might be something you've heard before, it might be something you haven't heard before, but I just wanted to share that with you because it is something that I do. I am a hot mess. You can probably hear the kids. I don't know what they're doing. It's never too late. And also, I dread doing the booking ask. It does not take a lot of time. Like when you sit down and do it, it takes just 30 minutes at the most. The longer part is the responses and making sure you check your tracker so you're not wasting your time later on. And then I heard this from someone, I can't remember who it was. If you're going to send the first message, send the follow-up messages, because otherwise you're wasting your time. You wouldn't start making a cake and leave it sit on the counter and not put it in the oven. Don't not finish your booking ask. So that's it. Super simple, just reminders.
Stacy said that.
It
Sometimes,
was somebody else.
yes, and Stacy said it too. That's when it took for me, when Stacy
Mhm.
said it. The thing is, I've gotten bookings on the 4th time. Hey, just following up. I don't want to be a pest. Put a funny face. And then someone, because you know how Facebook is, if you're not friends, it's going into that other folder most times. And then I guess Facebook gets sick of seeing us send 3 and 4 messages and they'll finally let it go through. So, but the fortune is in the follow-up for sure. You don't send one message if you're not going to send any more, because you can see if they've read it. If they haven't read it, just keep sending messages until someone replies, because the answer is always no unless they answer you. You know, we want we want them to say the word no for us to stop sending the message. So thank you so much, Christina.
I have a question for
Appreciate it.
Christina.
Hmm?
Can you hear me? I have a question for Christina.
Yeah, go ahead, Kim.
So when you, or in the past, I've heard it recommended that we pause our parties so that they don't all show up. Okay, well, if you do you then have to unpause the party to be able to post a booking bonus in a closed party?
I don't know, because I've never paused a party.
I don't even know what you're talking about. What are you talking
It's
about?
So that they
something
don't,
Stacey's
so that they
recommended.
don't, yeah, so they don't show up in post my party when so you don't have to scroll through the whole entire
Oh
list.
my God, that would be amazing.
A
Yes.
suggestion that I have for that, because I personally don't have time to go back and pause all those parties. As I'm changing the party banner, with certain emojis, they get pushed down to the bottom. That way the parties that I'm working on do not have emojis at the beginning, so it doesn't put those parties throughout the other emojis. It just puts them at the top of the list. Does that
That's a
make
great
sense?
idea, Madison.
You mean in post my party, it'll put them at the bottom?
So like
Yes.
your group name, like say Madison's Pampered Chef Party. Whenever I start the party, I don't put any emojis. That way, whenever I go into post my party, they're all at the top. And then as the party goes on, like when I say 2 days left, I'll put like an alarm or some kind of emoji where they float to the bottom. So you just see the parties that you're trying to schedule for the next week at the top.
Oh, good idea. Okay.
Go one step further. And what I do is in my parties, even starting 2 days before the party starts or before the party ends, I change the name. And all I do is I leave the name as it is, and then I put dash, the party ends in 2 days. And then I put the next day, the party ends tomorrow. So I'm bringing attention to the fact that the party's closing soon. And then once the party's closed, I put party closed, so that when I go into post my party, it tells me that Kelly's party has been closed. I tried to pause my parties, and for some reason it didn't work right for me. I don't know, maybe because I'm 4 years in and I don't like change. But I just found that putting party closed helps me significantly to figure out where I'm going with each party.
I'm definitely going to do that with the emoji before the post name. That way it will go to the bottom, because that's a lot of scrolling. So great idea. Thank you so much.
With that though, that I found is that it's harder for guests to find the party if you use an emoji. I've had people tell me,
even at the end,
yes, I've had people tell me that they couldn't find the party because I used like
Oh.
a chef emoji or I used a sun emoji.
Gotcha.
So I stopped doing that because I felt like it was not driving people to the page.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's a good point. Okay, thank you so much.
I
Okay,
don't know if you saw my message in the chat,
oh, no,
but
let me look.
I can show you real quick what I do to find the party.
Okay,
But if you go on Post My Party and you just start typing in the party name, here, like, let me share my screen and I'll show you. It's easier.
this is to eliminate all the scrolling.
Yeah.
I do the same thing Suzanne does.
So here's
and
my
it works
Post My
every
Party.
time.
If I do this and then say I want to go to Brittany's party,
Yeah.
well, here are all my Brittany's. So I just started typing Brittany and it brings me up my Brittany's.
Where
So
are
then I
you
look for the
typing
one
it?
that it is.
Where are you typing it?
I am typing it right in, like when I open the box, I just start typing like Samantha, and it'll bring up Samantha.
All the Samantha.
So,
Very
yeah.
good.
So it'll take you right
It
to
has
it.
never let me type. I've tried it.
Oh no. Huh.
Huh.
Are you guys using the new version or the old version? Because I type as well and it pulls them all up
Oh my God, I hate
and I don't
you
have any
so
problem.
much. I haven't switched
But
over
I
to the new
also,
version.
I also put the start and the end date at I put like host name, Pampered Chef Party, and then I put the start and the end date. And then I also know that I'm selecting the right week because that helps me.
Mhm.
And it helps when you're searching if you need to.
Okay.
I don't
That's
use
the
the
great thing.
new version because you can't see any of your pictures in there. Like from the home screen. You can't see any of what your posts look like.
I have to investigate that new version.
You can see my pictures.
Oh,
Do
Pull
you
up
have
one
it
of your
on list or
templates
do
and
you
let me
have it
see
on
what it looks
card?
like.
If you have it on card, you can't see the pictures. If you click list, it'll list all of your posts with the pictures next to it, like the old version.
I'll have to try that.
In card, if you hover over the one you're looking at and scroll, it'll scroll through the whole post and then your pictures will show up. So they are there.
maybe
You
we
just have
should
to
talk
scroll
about
down.
this in the next meeting. We'll have a little Post My Party training.
Tips. Oh yeah, because I make
Tips.
sometimes I make pictures in Canva right in Post My Party. That's easy.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, thank you
Definitely
all
a
so
training for
much.
that.
I appreciate you being here. Sorry we ran a little late, but I loved having Casey on the call. Just a reminder, June is double rewards. And when, I can't remember who was it you, Christina, that said you make it seem like urgent when you go to say, oh, I just had an opening for June 9th or an opening for June 16th. Who said that? Was it Madison or Christina?
That was me.
Okay.
That's me. Yeah.
I do that all the time. I do that all I got 2 bookings the other day. All I did was I had 2 people drop out on June 30th. Their loss, your gain. Who wants these 2 dates? And 2 people messaged me. So if you make it sound like that, because everybody wants to be excited, everybody wants to get double rewards and that kind of thing. Just a reminder, hi there, Evelyn. Just a reminder, June is double rewards when your parties reach $650 in sales. That is a good booking tool. Also, I'm going to bring back something old that I used to do, and I'm going to put the post in sometime in the next few days. I'm going to offer a sign up for coaching calls if you want to have a phone call for a few minutes, if you want to talk about your business, if you just want some ideas, if you want me to talk you off the ledge, if anything, I'm going to give you some time. I used to do that on Mondays all the time years ago. So what's old is new again. So I hope I get to talk to some of you on the phone soon. And we're going to call it a night. Thank you to my directors, as usual, for doing amazing trainings. I really appreciate you all. And for those who showed up live, thank you so much. And for those that are going to watch us on replay, you are going to love everything. You guys, I'll talk to you soon. Have a great night. And thanks again.
Have a good night.